Hi, I'm going to be talking way too much about soup and muffins, but I swear this is a writing channel and a writing update. And also, just my hair is wrecked. It is Saturday, November 8th. My name's Zinnia. I like to read and write. I'm working on a horror retelling at the current moment, but I really like anything that's in the horror, dystopian, spooky, weird, quirky category. Um, I have a also mysterious little wet spot right here. We're just not gonna worry about that. Please don't focus on this. So anyway, it is Saturday. I have put both of my daughters down for a little nap, so I'm going to have a sneaky, cheeky little writing session. I want to update a little bit. The last time I checked in, I think it was Monday. So that would have been November 3rd. So since then, I have done some writing on, let's see, my starting balance at the beginning of November ish, beginning of this sort of attempt at finishing my manuscript. I was at 8,578 words. And on Tuesday the 4th, I wrote 1,078 words. Wednesday the 5th, I wrote 1,126. Thursday the 6th, 777. I love that number and it was unintentional. Yesterday, Friday the 7th, I only wrote 229. But those words that I wrote last night felt really good and I would have kept writing except I had to teach a late night lesson because I currently have my teaching schedule open in two shifts, like a daytime shift and then a late night post bedtime shift, which is kind of wreaking havoc on my sleep cycle and a little bit my mental health. So maybe I need to revisit that decision. Although I do have a couple of students now that I'm teaching late night who I really enjoy. But that's not really related to my writing, except that it is sapping me of some late night strength, which is a time when I historically have done some of my better writing or more productive writing. Also, yesterday, I managed to sit down and chat with my critique partner about my most recent chapters. She lives part time in Vietnam, but she is back in Europe for a few months. So we had to meet virtually, which is a little bit less fun, but I mean, still productive. We had some discussion about Grady Hendrix because we both finished Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and yeah, they're we both kind of agreed that the portrayal of Hagar, the like the housekeeper cook, is problematic, but there are other elements of the book that kind of balance that out and make it still like a good read and like interesting. Um, anyway, when we got down to talking about my manuscript, though, she pointed out that there were a couple of lines that she liked, um, which I was happy to hear. But the particular lines that she liked were also lines that I flagged as maybe these are a little bit too quirky or also just in the soup category, which that sounds like a weird thing to say, but truthfully, I have three soup metaphors that I've used in three chapters in a row. And I read back over my work, which I usually don't do, but I sat down and read through my work, and that was something that I clocked that was like, why am I talking about soup so much? So maybe I should just read those lines out. And you guys can comment down below if you think those are ridiculous lines to write. Um, let me see. These are kind of disjointed and you don't have any context for them, but here's the first one. In chapter 3, I wrote, in the quieter moments, Travis's voice rumbled over the scraping of spoons as he droned on about KPIs for the MVP. Alphabet soup for dinner again. There's That's not really about soup, but it is about soup at the same time. Yeah. Then the next one is in chapter 4. And oh no, the next one doesn't come up until chapter 5. So maybe it's not so back to back to back. But 5 and 6 definitely are back to back. Here's like kind of the line before it and the actual line, I guess. And he wasn't wrong to be annoyed. There shouldn't have been any construction on a Sunday, and Brittany was feeding him canned responses as tepid as Campbell's chicken noodle dumped into a microwave safe bowl. So there's another soup. I didn't use the word soup exactly, but it's canned, tepid, feeding, chicken, Campbell's chicken noodle, microwave safe bowl. Like there's a lot of soup going on in that sentence. And clearly, I don't think I made this obvious yet, but the main character in this book works in property management. And there's a lot of, I mean, it's almost like sort of bordering on workplace horror, which is a weird one, but um, I hesitate to draw any comparisons because I'm really not there yet. I'm only in chapter 6. Like we'll see what it really shakes out to be. But the next kind of soup reference comes in an interlude chapter where the narrator, the omniscient narrator, is speaking directly to the reader about her kind of origin story. So we get this couple of lines that says, "And yes, I was born in the conventional biological way, not out of some binary stew like the rest of your 21st century hallucinations." So stew is not exactly soup, but they are definitely adjacent. And my critique partner said that she really enjoyed the all of those lines and that she flagged two of them as like sort of the things that popped out to her as being like interesting in the text. And I was like, okay. And I said, so maybe I'm doing too much soup. And she said, no, maybe you're not doing enough soup. And she said, maybe I should try and sneak in a soup reference in every single chapter. But she's kind of joking, but at the same time, wouldn't that be fun? And that seems like a little fun challenge to me. I could always cut those lines later or like repurpose them into something else, but that seems like a fun little like a side quest for me to see like how much soup can I sneak into this book that's not about food at all. Um, so that's kind of where I am with my writing. And I mean, this is going to be really a short little mini update of a video. So my plans though for the weekend, I'm going to try and write a little bit today. I got up this morning and I made some mango muffins with fresh mango, and those are delicious. So that was my morning, sort of. And I also need to deal with that. I have a different video about decluttering shelves, and I'm not going to film it this time. I'm just going to declutter the shelves. Two daughters under 6 means that we've got a metric crap ton of headbands and head apparel and head adornment, hair clips, hair bands, everything, the crowns. We got all kinds of stuff over there. Unicorn horns, like it's all of it. So I have to like find a way to store that because I do like to indulge that kind of dress up play because I think it's really healthy for them. Like the imagination factor of that is really cute. So I'm going to deal with the shelves today. I'm going to do some writing. I'm going to do some other cleaning. And yeah, hopefully. So I am literally like 2 paragraphs into chapter 6. I'm hoping to finish up chapter 6 this weekend. I'm not really pushing for like a ton of words. Like, as you could see from my word count update, I'm like, if I hit 1,000 words a day, like that's awesome, wonderful. Like I'm not going to be anywhere close to like a 50K month, and I don't need to be there. I am focusing on writing every day for November now, like the rest of November. Making slower progress is just fine. So yeah, like I said, comment down below if you have any thoughts on talking too much or too little about soup in a manuscript. I hope you're doing well with your November project. Feel free to also leave me a comment to let me know what you're working on or your word count or anything related that you feel like sharing. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.